Yeah, I don't get any weird vibrations from it when I'm using the Pocket 3 on the underside of the bike. But what I don't like about it being on the underside of the bike is if you take a look at some of this stuff, I constantly, because I have no fender here, I constantly have to clean the underside of this bike. And that's what discourages me from using this. Not because it doesn't work, but because once I'm done, if I'm done riding or something and it's slightly even wet outside or anything, this thing looks like the back of the bike, and you got to wipe it all down really nice. And this camera is very, very finicky. It's not weather sealed at all, so you got to be aware of that before you buy it. It's not weather sealed, so you're not going to really be protected from a lot of water or dirt or sand or whatever it is. You're not going to be protected from it, so you got to be careful with how you plan to use this thing. And so that's the main reason why I don't put it underneath the bike. But it can go underneath the bike, and if you don't want something on the back of your bike, it's a much better desired look in my opinion. But even with this, I feel like it's okay, because you can just keep it on there while you're shooting, and when you're done you can just take that plate off, put it in your backpack, you know, put your Pocket 3 up and everything, and then go back to riding. And you know, you don't have to worry about it. You can barely even see that it's there because it's matched with the bike. So you got to definitely you definitely got to think about that. This I did buy just to see how it works. I have not used it. This is from GoPro, their suction mount. I haven't used it yet. Like I said, I don't trust suction mounts. I don't trust them. They do work well if you get really expensive ones, but still, I just don't trust them. I feel much more safer with a magnet, like magnets, because I know it sticks to metal. I know it's going to take something pretty forceful to knock it off, and the more magnets you have as a base, easier it is. In my last video, I was telling people that I'm eventually going to get another one of these, and I'm going to buy a tilta cage for the Pocket 3. And basically it's going to be kind of set up like this. I'm going to have one thing here, and I'm going to use a small rig arm, ball head arm. What's up, man? Where's Kingston at? Where's Kingston? Oh, okay. Tell him he needs to come get some water or something. He hasn't taken no break. He has? Oh, okay. So eventually what I want to do here is get the tilta cage, and the tilta cage goes around here, and it allows you to put like small rig arms, and I'm going to use a small rig arm with ball heads to connect from this to this side of the tilta, and then have another one of these on this side connecting to the other side of the tilta. That way it's being held up by 6 magnets, and you can just set it on your car or wherever it obviously won't fit on the bike at that point if you're using that many, but you don't need to with what I just showed you. But especially on a car, you'll feel super safe having 6 magnets attached to your car, knowing that, you know, it ain't coming off regardless, you know what I mean? But I have ridden with this on the car, on both my Volkswagens, no issues whatsoever, and that's going 55, 65 miles an hour on the highway. So I have full confidence that it will hold, but my confidence would go up even more if I knew I had extra strength. So yeah, it works, man. The video speaks for itself. Again, you know, people have ideas, and I'm so glad for YouTube, because you get to see other people that share your same ideas in other places around the world. And it's like, it's crazy to see when somebody's doing something that you're actively figuring out how to do, and great minds think alike, man. So again, if you want a solo experience, if you are a YOLO solo when it comes to wanting to shoot rollers, wanting to shoot cars and bikes. So as I was saying, is if you don't have a team of people, one person that's going to drive, the other person that's going to do the filming, whether they are got the tailgate up, and they're strapped in or not strapped in into the back seat, or if they're hanging out the window with a big ass gimbal and a DSLR or a mirrorless camera trying to get the shots, which is also dangerous because you're leaning on a door, and if the door fails and it flies open, so do you. You know, it takes a crew. It takes even if you got a two-man crew, it still takes a crew. It takes time and coordination. You got to make sure this person is ready to do it. Oh, they can't do it at this time. It's like you introduce way more variables than it needs to be, versus using something solo like this.
He said don't get water until the mop is done.
Okay. Stay where I can see you. So if you want to be able to solo this and do this stuff, you can, man. I also found a fix for the Osmo Pocket disconnecting from the Mimo app, which I'm using to record this video, or what I'm using, as you can see, that I'm using to assist me looking at this video. The issue that I was having was that once you get the camera mounted and say you put it on the car, when you connect the app and get it to connect with the camera, it will connect, but then it will disconnect itself after like 5 seconds, and it'll tell you that like it can't work. And so you keep trying it, and you'll go crazy. And I finally figured out that it only happened when I actually started my car. It only happened when I started my car. And when the CarPlay was enabled, the Apple CarPlay was enabled, it would cut the feed to the app. So if you want to get this to work seamlessly while you're and you want to be able to use the app, what you have to do is disable your CarPlay, Android CarPlay or Apple CarPlay. Once you disable that, you'll be able to stay connected. And you'll be able to put the camera wherever you want on your car. If you do not disable CarPlay, the only options you're going to be able to have is you're going to have to set your camera's focus point or direction, general direction, and lock it to where it doesn't move, because you won't be able to activate or use active track unless you've already selected your subject. Like say I go put it on the wall, and then I have my subject in the background. I will go ahead and select him and draw a box around that subject, and then I can just slowly kind of back away. It'll stay tracking, but if you're moving at different paces and things like that, it ain't gonna work. Eventually it'll lose track and the camera will just like drift off into space. So your only option would be to set it at a desired location or direction, and lock the gimbal so it doesn't move. And then that way you're kind of shooting like an action camera in a ways, because you're only going to capture anything that flies within that, that sector of where your camera's looking. And then when it is crossing, it's not going to actively track it. He said he was trying to get some water. You told him nope.
Don't take his shoes off. His dirty ass feet are just mopped.
Oh. So that's your options there. But again, this thing looks crazy, man. I love the way this thing looks when it's on the bike. I love the way it looks when it's on the car, because when I did some testing and she was videotaping me, I think it looks pretty cool that it's so stealth that nobody else really knows what's going on. It ain't like somebody, like I said, when you're hanging out the window with a gimbal, or you're riding down the highway and the tailgate is up and you're back there filming with a gimbal, it's very obvious. But with this, I mean, it looks so tiny. Look, I'm actually going to show you. I'm talking about it and I can just show you. But essentially, this is what you have here if you were going to use it. See what I'm saying? Like, it's so inconspicuous. Like, you won't even know something is wrong looking. And the whole time we're filming, I have it on the car, and I'm just staying side by side. I guarantee you people are probably like, they didn't even notice what it was. They probably think it's a freaking antenna or something, an ugly antenna. But yeah, it's so cool how small it is, and then at the same time, the amazing quality that comes out of this little thing. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane. It gives you crazy ideas of what you can really do. Like, you know, for example, like if you had, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different possibilities you can do. If you had another one of these cameras, you can mount it on both sides of your vehicle and just different angles and capture a lot more than just one. But the possibilities are endless, man. I'm telling you, if you're a guy that likes to do car photography, motorcycle photography, you like to meet up at the meets and the events, the car events and stuff like that, the car shows, having something like this is so valuable, especially when you're around people who want content, who like to create content. You know, all you have to do is get yourself an Instagram page, get you something that people can look at, start getting some demos out there. Once you dial this camera in, showing your demo reel of professional shots. And once you start going to these car meets, man, all you got to do is show them that page and show them what you're doing, give them samples of what you can do, and you can have clients like that. You can have clients like that that'll be willing to book you. And with you being right there in a spot, you already got everything ready to go, you know, so you can literally get this thing rolling and start doing shots at where you're at. But if you're in that field, you can make a lot of money with this thing. If you're not in that field and you're just casual, it still looks great, and you can get high quality rollers of yourself and your friends, and yeah, everything's good. But yeah. Oh, also what I was gonna tell y'all that I noticed when I was riding, with the DJI, I'm using a polarizer. I've been using a polarizer instead, the clear polarizer, instead of the ND filters when I go out. Like today was super bright, and the last couple times I filmed with just the polarizer. And what I noticed that's really cool, you might be able to see it in this video because of the way the phone looks all rainbowy. But when I'm on the bike and this is on, it kind of does somewhat of the same thing, but what it does is it almost makes it look like it's not on. Like right now, it looks like it's not on, but I don't have my key. But when you turn it on and you're out, it kind of naturally just completely blocks the screen. Because I notice a lot of people are using they're blurring out their speedo, but honestly, if you try a polarizer and get the motion down to where you want it, it will naturally block the screen and make it look like it's not even working, or you'll be able to barely even tell that it's functioning at all from the camera view. In your view, it'll look normal, but that could be a nice little walk around for people who don't want to do an active track and blur your screen. Just ride it with the polarizer and make sure you get the angle down right before you ride, and you're good to go.